until October 13, 2025. The Osaka Kansai Expo is on Maishima, an artificial island in Osaka City. If you cross the bridge from Maishima, there is another artificial island called Maishima. Part of this Maishima was selected as a candidate for the main venue of the Olympics and was developed as Maishima Sports Island. However, the result was a crushing defeat. Before the host city vote, we were overwhelmed by national votes and lost. Maishima Sports Island was built for the Olympics. What's its status now? We'll discuss Maishima Sports Island, often seen as a negative legacy, and cover its past, present, and future. So I'm heading toward Maishima while glancing at the expo site. Until just a few years ago, this area was really deserted, but thanks to the expo, development has progressed a lot. There were no elevated roads, just one convenience store and some store art. If Maishima was chosen as the Olympic venue, Maishima would have become the Olympic Village. It's no exaggeration to say that Osaka's waterfront area is my home turf. I've been making a living in the coastal areas of Sakishima, Yumeshima, and Maishima, and I've been driving around there for a while. Then a huge bridge appeared. This is the Umeme Bridge. The Umeme Bridge cost 106 billion yen to build. The bridge, which cost so much, was originally planned for the Olympics. It was built to improve transportation during the Olympics. There is a sidewalk next to the bridge, so you can walk from Yumeshima, the expo site, all the way to Maishima. The bridge was finished in 2001, but the sidewalk wasn't built until 2025. It was at the same time as the opening of Yumeshima Station, which is the nearest station to the expo site. The reason it was left unfinished was because Yumeshima was an area specialized for port facilities like industrial complexes. As a result, ordinary people didn't visit that place. With the expo underway, more people are visiting, so the sidewalks are being improved. By the way, the 970-meter bridge costing 106 billion yen connects Awajishima and Tokushima Prefecture and is quite expensive. The total construction cost of the Onorudo Bridge is 110 billion yen, so there's not much difference. It's expensive because it can move to let large vessels pass in emergencies. Since it was built as a bridge, the bridge itself opens sideways, allowing large vessels to pass through. In addition to the total construction cost, money is also spent on opening and closing drills that are conducted once every few years. Since it could rust and fail, we can't call it unnecessary. It's never been used in an emergency, making its grand construction a so-called negative legacy. That appears to be why. Since today's main topic is Maishima Sports Island, I'll leave it at that. I'm planning a separate video just about Umeme Bridge soon. I've crossed the bridge and reached Maishima. Maishima spans 220 hectares. Maishima Sports Island covers 125 hectares on the island's left side. It covers over half the total area. On the right, about 100 hectares house logistics, facilities, factories, and the ultra-luxurious waste treatment plant, often mistaken for USJ or the expo venue. Maishima's left and right sides have entirely different atmospheres. By the way, the waste treatment plant is not only impressive on the outside, but the inside is also quite something. A high-temperature incinerator reduces everything to ashes. Apparently, they spent a huge amount of tax money to build a flashy building in order to attract the Olympics. Initially seen as a negative legacy, it's actually the best. Thanks to the incinerator, I haven't heard many negative opinions lately. Now let's take a look at Sports Island right away. The project costs 120 billion yen and will bring many sports facilities. Pararira. This is the Ukini Arena, an indoor stadium known as Maishima. It's used as the home arena for the basketball team Osaka Ivesa. There are two main facilities in the Sports Island, and one of them was completed in 1996. Now, besides basketball games, it's also used for concerts, events, and other sports. Classes are also held regularly. What if the Olympics had happened? This place was supposed to host handball and table tennis. One summer I went to a festival called Jiga. Since this place was part of the venue, I came here to see Fruit Zipper. It was quite an impressive facility. Nothing was happening that day, so I couldn't go inside, but you can still tell it's an impressive facility from the outside. Next, we have the other main venue, Osaka City Shinkin Bank Stadium. This was an impressive baseball stadium, but it was previously used only for occasional youth or amateur games. I could hear voices from inside, so I guess they were practicing, but I wasn't able to go inside. However, in 2017, the second team facilities of the professional baseball team Oryx Buffaloes were relocated. This stadium currently serves as the home base for the second team. Sports Island now includes player dorms and indoor training facilities, helping to revitalize the area. Osaka City Shinkin Bank Stadium is a shared stadium used for university and high school baseball, among other events. In 2016, a secondary stadium was built, Shoji Sugimoto Buffaloes Stadium. More and more games are being held at Maishima. Okini Arena Maishima costs 14 billion yen. The Osaka City Shinkin Bank Stadium cost 6.4 billion yen. It seems a lot was invested. I'm glad prom saved us. Chorizo Osaka's soccer team also has a training ground. Originally, it was a ball game field with 2 dirt grounds mainly used by amateur teams. However, because of low usage, it was leased to Chorizo Osaka via bidding. Maishima Sports Island is an amazing place that serves as the base for 3 professional teams: basketball, baseball, and soccer. Multiple pro sports teams only moved here in the 2010s. Before then, Mr. Funoi says the area was mostly vacant lots. It was in the same condition, but now there are fewer negative opinions. However, no matter where you walk, there are only a few people around and not many cars passing by. Aside from those working on Maishima, I'm the only one here. There are so few people, it feels like no one else is left. Even with well-equipped sports facilities, they don't always attract people, so it's usually quiet and deserted. Now I'll go ahead and introduce some other places as well. Although it's called Sports Island, it's not just for sports. Regular people can enjoy it as well. This is Maishima Green Park, built for 5.7 billion yen. However, there are hardly any people here. By the way, while filming, I didn't pass by a single person in the park. I thought to myself, of course, no one would come to Maishima on a weekday. There are even playground equipment here, so it feels like such a waste. So I chose to play instead. It would have ended if someone came, but since no one did, I played as much as I wanted. There's also a short lighthouse with lighting facilities. On the seaside, there's something called the Seaside Promenade. There's a walkway where you can walk while looking at the ocean. Maybe because of the rising sea level, another fence was installed in front of the original one. After some walking, I found a place resembling a simpler Heidi's World. This is the Day Osaka, a lodging facility in Osaka City with log houses and other accommodations. It feels like a resort, not the city. It's amazing. I'd love to stay here at least once, but since I live in Osaka, I actually don't get the chance to go. Further in, there's the Sun Plaza, which is also used as an event venue. During the expo, it's hardly used in order to avoid crowding. Maishima's most famous events are the Nemophila Festival and the Summer Sonic and Jaeger Rock Festivals. I think the Nemophila Festival will be held on Maishima again, but what about Summer Sonic in Jaga? In 2025, both were at Expo Commemoration Park, known for the Tower of the Sun, and appeared popular with visitors, so I doubt they'll return to Maishima. I went off topic, but there's an observation plaza with a great view of Osaka Bay, so let's climb the hill. It was sunny when I arrived at Maishima, but it suddenly got cloudy. Can you still tell how beautiful it is? On clear days, you can see Kobe and the Akashi Kaikyo Bridge, so I hope you'll visit. This is the parking lot for the Expo Park Light. If I'm not mistaken, there are 5 of them installed on Maishima. Places that used to be vacant lots are now being used as parking lots. Thanks to that, there are hardly any vacant lots left in the current sports island. Maybe it's too close to the Parai venue on Maishima? It doesn't seem to have many users and is barely used. There was also a parking lot. Here's how Maishima Sports Island looks now. That's all for sports. There aren't many places nationwide where so many facilities are gathered together. That's an amazing point, but there aren't any people here at all. Actually, whether it has the support of the citizens is a bit questionable. There are no trains here, and transportation access is extremely poor. That's all there is to it. The Osaka Metro Chuolini's planned extension to Maishima nearly happened, but was postponed. As of 2025, trains still do not run here. Basically, you can only get there by car or bus. Inside the sports island, there's just one lane, so even small events cause major traffic jams. Technically, there are 2 places where you can walk out, but it takes too much time, so it's not realistic. Few buses run here, and it only gets crowded during events. Most days like today, it's pretty empty. As a sports facility, you could say it's no longer a negative legacy, but there are so few people here that it gives off a kind of lonely atmosphere. Next, we head to Maishima Sports Island. I'll cover everything from past events to now. Maishima is located on the coast of Osaka City from 1972 to 1987. It was used as a landfill for waste. The artificial island for the expo is Umeshima. The artificial island I often mention, known for its bubble-era legacies, is Sakishima. Maishima began land reclamation almost at the same time. Projects for the development of public land, such as parks, green spaces, and frost-resistant embankments, have been approved, but at this point, they probably hadn't really thought about how to use it. During Osaka's 100th municipal anniversary in 1988, the Technoport Osaka Coastal Development Plan was announced at the height of the bubble economy. Sakishima, Umeshima, and Maishima were to be developed into Osaka's secondary city center, bringing together cutting-edge functions. Maishima was designed for cultural and recreational facilities and a workforce of 10,000. It was set to finish in 2010 with a daytime population of 22,000. Later, minor changes were made to the Technoport Osaka plan, adding sports facilities in Maishima. They announced plans to build sports facilities and make it a sports island. This was the original plan that became the current Maishima Sports Island. It didn't happen, but there were also plans for a ski slope and golf course. The plan continued as originally intended even after the bubble burst and was never reconsidered. However, Sakishima, intended as the main hub of the Technoport Osaka project, did not develop as planned. Maishima stayed vacant and abandoned. The plan failed. Included in this plan was a railway extension from Cosmo Square to Maishima, but it was put on hold. Despite disappointment, Osaka started planning next steps. This time, they tried to bring the Olympics scheduled for 2008 to Maishima as the main venue. Since 1992, Osaka City has discussed hosting the Olympics. The following year, in 1993, preparations for facilities were made in case the Olympics would be held in Osaka City. That is the current Maishima. The sports island was developed there. The facilities were built on a national scale. Even for sports tournaments, it was decided the venue would first be used for matches. After that, it was decided to bid for it as the venue for the 2008 Olympics up until the host city vote in July 2001. Popular table tennis player Ai Fukuhara was invited at the time. She was welcomed as a symbol, and oddly, a very luxurious waste treatment facility was built as another symbol. This is the artist's rendering of Maishima if the Olympics were held there. The image quality is poor and hard to see. You can see the Okini Arena and the Osaka City Shinkanbank Stadium. It's closed off and huge. They also planned a large stadium. The construction site was planned on the left, but it's now a barbecue area and a Lawson. The city of Osaka received positive evaluations from the International Olympic Committee regarding the city plan and facilities. However, the problem was access to the venue. Maishima isn't accessible by train, so you must go by bus or car. 2 months before the host city vote, an on-site inspection was conducted. The International Olympic Committee's bus got caught in traffic jams multiple times. On top of that, we gave an empty explanation, which disappointed the International Olympic Committee. Osaka's evaluation fell sharply after the on-site inspection. Osaka received a lower overall rating than the other candidate cities in the evaluation report. The International Olympic Committee said hosting the Olympics in Osaka may not be possible. There were even recommendations that could be interpreted as a de facto confirmation of Osaka's elimination. It seems that such things happened as well. After spending so much, they couldn't back out. Osaka didn't withdraw. After that, in July 2001, the host city vote was held at the International Olympic Committee General Assembly in Moscow. The votes were 11-8, both unanimous. If a candidate city receives a majority of the votes, it is selected as the host city. None of them reached a majority. If that happens, the city with the fewest votes is eliminated, and voting continues until a country gets a majority. Osaka was eliminated after receiving only 6 votes in the first round. The 2008 host city was chosen in the second round when a majority was reached. Beijing, China's capital, was chosen as the host. Later, Osaka supporters sent consoling messages, saying it was unfortunate despite backing Osaka. More than 6 countries, outnumbering the votes, were involved. People can be scary. Invitation activities lacked expertise and were led by Osaka City. They requested support from the Japanese Olympic Committee and tried to make use of private sector connections. Since such efforts were not made, it was criticized as bureaucratic work and ended in failure. And then, on Maishima, some sports facilities were built, but most of the area was left as vacant land with only a few facilities. Due to this spending, several pro teams moved there, and most vacant land is now filled. However, nothing has changed, and it's still deserted with few people. There's such a strong image that there's nothing here except sports facilities, so I guess it can't be helped. I think it's a waste, since there are so many great things here like the green space, barbecue area, and log houses. Few places in Osaka City have such a great location. I think it's fine to keep it as it is as a sports island, but I also feel it has the potential to be a nearby resort area. Osaka aims to use sports to revitalize Maishima, which is still being developed. Some areas remain unused, and there are questions about what will happen to places now serving as expo parking lots once the expo ends. Now, there is a possibility that 2 train lines will extend to Maishima in the future. Actually, this has been planned for some time. It's only now that it's finally becoming realistic. That's the right way to put it. First, the Osaka Metro Cho line. This is the line I mentioned earlier that's frozen. Starting from Cosmo Square, Umeshima is now open because of the expo. There's still a possibility that this Chuo line could be extended to Maishima, but honestly, it's unlikely they'd go out of their way to do it. Osaka Metro likely won't do it, since there's no real benefit. The second option is the Japan Railway's Sakurajima and Loop lines. From Nishikujo Station, you can reach the largest theme park in Kansai. This line runs from Nishikujo Station through Universal City Station near Universal Studios Japan to Sakurajima Station. There are plans to extend the line to Yumeshima in conjunction with the opening of the integrated resort, and personally, I think the possibility is high. Plans also include building a station at Maishima. There's also a plan for the Keihan Nakanoshima line, which is known as a dead railway even though it's in the city, to be extended to Yumeshima. However, it's more likely that the extension will only go as far as Ukijo Station on a different route, so I'll skip introducing it this time. Maishima has lush greenery and a relaxing seaside promenade. However, there aren't any facilities that attract large crowds. People only think of it as a place where there are occasional events and lots of sports facilities. I hope for more development in the future. They could promote more of a resort atmosphere. If the integrated resort opens and Maishima Station is built, the convenience will improve dramatically. I believe many facilities will open, so it's something to anticipate even though it's still far away. The view from the Shiji Sadaprom Observation Plaza in Maishima Green area is amazing, so don't miss it. That's it for this video. See you again in the next one.